Hello everyone, so back at the plot today, and we've done a bit of clearing, bit of work recently. We've obviously had to move the chickens, as you've seen in our last garden tour video. So I just want to do a quick overview. This will be attached to the seed video of what we've got in terms of beds now, so that when we're doing the seeds themselves we can actually explain where they're going. So I'm going to start off the side closest to the greenhouse and we'll work our way. So right, we've obviously got the greenhouse up there and the fruit cage over there. This area here next to the pond, between the pond and the wheelbarrow won't live there, is going to be known as nature bed. So that will be where all the things go that are to encourage nature and wildlife to the garden. That's why the pond is there, and the comfrey's just there to build a little small number of plants for now. So this bed here is bed number 1. We are aiming to put bamboo guardrails around all of our beds, just to protect them from being ran over by little ones. We have then got bed number 2 here. Now bed number 2 already has onions and garlic in it, so that will not be changing until later on in the year when the onions and garlic are finished. We've also got bed number 3 here, which a couple of you keen eyes might have noticed that there is a plant in there. Yes, for people who put peas is exactly what is going in here. You can see we planted them and they will be enabled to run up. These are a mix of Blauwschokkers and of pea Monge 2 Spring Blush. The Blauwschokker will develop into a fully formed pea. However, we're going to harvest this first lot as a Monge 2, just for the fact that it means we will get a better crop of peas with a later sowing. So we put them in early. If they produce, we'll be happy. If they don't, they were a really early sowing in order to try and get a really early harvest out of them. They were started in a propagator, electric one at home, and they've been planted out. They are developing quite well. You can see their tendrils, and we're just going to have to start training them up. It is getting quite cold still down here at night, so they are slow growing. But we're getting about 8 or 9 degrees at the moment during the day when the sun's out, so they are putting on little spurts of growth. Number 4 is this long, thin, narrow bed that, again, like bed number 2, has got garlic and onions in. Again, like number 2, this will be interplanted towards the end of the garlic and onions with a new crop. However, I will explain what crop is going in here in the next section of this video. Bed number 5 is raspberries. Now, as I mentioned last time, the raspberries were cut down because we weren't sure what variety they were, and they were all really old and looking a bit worse for wear. So we thought if we cut them down, hopefully we'll get some shooting from them. If not this year, then that's not the end of the world. Along this path we have got bed number 6. Now bed number 6 has got one of the runs from the chicken coop over it, and that is because we are going to use this bed as a seedling bed. So things like broccoli or anything that will be attacked by pigeons or anything like that, we will start off in here until they get to a good size before transplanting them out into other areas where applicable. Some lettuce may be grown in here as well, just to protect it as well from pigeons, but other than that, it's just going to be a nursery bed. Moving on, we have got bed number 7. Bed number 7 is just going to have gooseberry plants in. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gooseberry plants in here, as well as this tree that we are still hoping to identify, but it looks sort of like a cherry from the bark that it's got. So that is going to remain the same. Now, these beds around here haven't been made yet, but they are laid out by the boards. Bed number 8 is this little square here. Bed number 9 will be this square here, and then there will be paving slabs in this square here for when we come into our entrance, and just outside the shed we have a solid foundation. We then have got quite a large bed number 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, bed number 10, which is running from this board here all the way to that board, and then from there all the way across. That, like the number 1, is quite a big bed, and you will see why when we get to saying what is going in it. Bed number 11 is here. Well, this one might end up being bed number 10, and this one might end up being bed number 11, but when I'm doing the seeds I will have a plan, and I will exactly show you which one's which. Bed number 12 it has this little crook in it. We might put something there, like a pot or something, just to ignore the crook, but that's going to go all the way along, all the way to about a metre away from the compost heap, because we still need to be able to access the compost heap and have ability to put a wheelbarrow in front of it or put stuff in front of it. So that's bed number 12. Yeah, bed number 12. Bed number 13 is this one here. Now, bed number 13, 14 and 15 are all going to have the same crop in them, and that is going to be potatoes. Now, they're not going to have the same potato. We are going to a potato day, or we will have been to a potato day by the time this video is uploaded, so we will show you what potatoes are going in it, or we have bought. However, they're going to have 3 different varieties or 4 different varieties of potatoes. We can fit 2 rows in this bed, potentially 3 in this bed, and potentially 3 in this bed. So we could ideally have 8 rows of potatoes. The final section is that messy bed at the back there. Now, that is not going to change what is in there, because that is an entire hedge. Although it's got weeds at the bottom here, you can sort of see the trees just up there when it gains focus, and that is an entire hedge of blackthorn, aka sloe, which we will be aiming to harvest when they have fruited at the end of the season. So that is our bed tour. I will now get on to showing you which seeds we have and what's going where. Hello all, and welcome to, well, the seeds. So in front of me we have a plan of the allotment. So we've got the glass house, the fruit cage, the shed, the water, the compost and the big seating area, and all the shaded in parts are the paths that either exist currently on this half or we are putting in on this half. So all the beds are numbered, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc, etc. So in total we have 15 beds of varying sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a few of our seeds that we have, bed by bed if preferable, if possible, in order to show you what we are planning on planting. So the first thing we will start with though is the glass house. Now the glass house is going to have a range of different plants in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out. Now we won't have massive amounts of all of these, they're more likely to be small amounts, but they're all very nice, a good variety. So we are going to use melons. There will also be a cucumber in this, however the cucumber is also being planted in another bed, so when I get to that I will show you that as well. So we are starting with the melon emir. Now the glass house is 6x4 and it has a grape on one side, so we have some climbing space on the other side of the plot, that on the other side of the glass house that we can use. So the melon is likely to be used to climb on one half of that. Next we have a range of different peppers slash chilies. So the main chili we're going to grow is the early jalapeno. We have started sowing these, and we will be doing what we've sown and what we've got, or we will be updating sowing as we go. We've done a couple just to early start, just to see how they're looking. However, yes, so we've got early jalapeno pepper. We have got sweet pepper Denver. Now this is a big early maturing variety, as you can see, and it goes to bright red. However, you can harvest it as a green, orange or red pepper. We also have this one called candy cane red, which, as you can see, develops these lovely stripes. It is a sweet pepper. It's mild, as you can see. However, it develops these like stripes as it develops, with the overall effect turning to this red pepper after ripening. We also have sweet pepper Corno de Toro Rosso. This is an elongated pepper that again can be harvested green or red. And the final one is just a general mixed sweet pepper. These are your bog standard peppers that you get in the shop. However, they are relatively easy to grow, so we thought we will do these as well to guarantee that we do have some peppers. So they will be located in the glass house. Now, in the first bed, which if you've seen the video earlier, you will know what that was, we have got a selection of plants to go in there. So, we are doing the Three Sisters in this bed. Which will also be done in the bed 11, however with different plants. So the Three Sisters are obviously corn, beans and a squash or pumpkin normally. However, we will be using courgettes and cucumbers. So the sweet corn we're going is Sundance. It is apparently from its within a early maturing variety that in odd summers won't matter. We have never grown any of these varieties before, so all of these varieties that we've got are new to us, and what we are doing is we are recording what we are planting and also the harvest of everything to keep a detailed record. So we've got sweet corn Sundance F1. We've got a dwarf French bean called Stanley, so these will be under the sweet corn and will sort of feed the sweet corn with their roots, considering they are a type of bean. The last two, instead of the pumpkins and squashes, we are going to be using a mix of courgettes and cucumbers. So cucumbers trail, however they will trail on the floor, but also we will be able to trail them in the actual sweet corn, up the sweet corn, and get a decent amount of growth. Meanwhile, the courgettes, we will plant 4 plants in the area and enable them to bush out, and we will make sure that there are no beans in that area, so there is no competition between the two of them. So the cucumber we've got is Chomper. It is a large fruit, and from reviews it looks very good. And the courgette is one called it's called Ambassador, and it is an early harvesting and high yield, and it's got a long growing season, which is great, which means you don't just get a clut of plants all at once. So that is bed number 1. Bed number 2 and 4 currently have a mix of onions and garlic in, so I have no seeds to show you for them now. However, after all the individual beds have been done, I will show you a selection of plants that are going to be put in spacing or where we can. Bed number 3, as you may have seen, is a pea. Now, it is pea blouse shocker, so currently we have 2 peas planted in there. We have some leftover seeds of pea Spring Blush, which is a Monge 2 variety, and we also have some seeds of Bleed Plough Shocker. Now, those we are harvesting both as Monge 2 if they survive. However, they were planted relatively early, so the frost may get them. The Pea Plough Shocker can be harvested as a Monge 2, however we will leave it to mature on the 2nd and 3rd sowing, and they will be sown repeatedly up the trellis, and as soon as it starts to show signs of dying, we will have another set in the wind to come in and take over. So that is number 3. Now, number 6, in the video I said that it was going to be a seedling bed. Now that is the case. However, as well as being a seedling bed, It is also going to be used for broccoli. Now, the main reason for this is obviously that we have got a cage over it, and if any of you have grown broccoli or any form of brassica before, you will know that birds are very picky of all the young growth. So we have got a mix of broccoli. Again, we are not sure exactly what quantity we are going to be growing and if we will grow all of them. However, we have got some Calabrese green sprouting, broccoli stromboli, broccoli Rudolph, and broccoli marathon. Now, marathon we have grown before, and they are a pretty decent broccoli. However, we wanted to give a try to some other varieties because with most gardening, if you can find a better variety, you tend to mix and match until you find one that suits what you want. So, Rudolph is a reliably large flavoursome spear, as is Stromboli, and also Marathon. They are all big heads. The only difference will be the green sprouting broccoli, which is much like purple sprouting, where it has smaller heads and you harvest a bit of the stem as well. However, it is green. So all of these will be dotted into bed 6 for the beginning. They may end up moving into other beds if beds become available. However, for now, bed 6 is where they've been designated. The next section will be bed 10, which will be a mass carrot planting. So we have got 3 different varieties of carrots. We have got the Chantenay red carrots, the Artemis, and the Eskimo. Now, Eskimo, if you're in anywhere cold, are a ideal carrot to try. They are hardy up to -10 degrees Celsius, which is remarkably good, which also means they're very good storing carrots, especially storing in the ground, provided that the slugs don't get them. We also have Artemis, which is resistant to bolting, which is really good considering the dry summer we had last year and the necessity of most plants to bolt. And then finally we have Chantenay red cord, which is excellent colour, texture and flavour. Now these will be planted. There is a lot of seeds obviously when you buy carrots, so we have designated bed 10 and possibly bed 12 to them, but they will also be put in anywhere we can underplant as a sort of spacer. Right, next bed is bed 11. Now bed 11 is another one of the 3 ladies beds, in the fact it will have sweet corn, but this variety is a mini pot, so it is ideal for baby corn, so it is a slightly smaller grown variety. As a result of that, we will be growing squash in it. This honey baked squash, it is a trial one. It looks a very nice plant, and reading the description, it is sweeter than a butternut squash, and the stripe does fade. It is also good for storage. So we're planning on putting a load of these squash plants in amongst the sweet corn, and finally we are going to finish it with a different dwarf French bean called Ferrari. This is similar to the one you would get in a supermarket, in it that it is a Kenyan type, so it is rather thin and elongated. They will be in bed 11. Now, bed number 12 is sort of a bed where we will be mixing and matching. So carrots may go in there, some broccoli may go in there. And then we have a load of other seeds that will be used as spacers. So these are crops that we are going to put in to interplant. The easiest way to do it, because there is a long line, is probably just to pick them up and show you. So the first one is a wild rocket. We then have pak choi in 3 different colours, the tricolour. Salad lettuce bowl, again it's a mix of different lettuce. Perpetual spinach. Lettuce Mizuno, again 4 colour. Swiss chard, bright light. Mustard, Southern Giant. Lettuce, Little Gem. Another Swiss chard called Ford Hook Giant. And then where we can find space, we will also be planting a load of spring onions. We have got some other plants that will be going in, however, as and when we use them, because those are the main ones we will be planting, we will show you. Now, they are likely to fill in the gaps between the carrots. The number 12 bed will probably have a mix of them. And as plants are growing, so as the Onions and garlic are coming to the end. We are likely to use them in order to get a second harvest from a bed. Now, the final area to talk about is plots number 13, or beds number 13, 14 and 15. Now, they are potato beds. Now, we have been to a potato day. They were held all around the country this weekend, so it would have been yesterday when we attended, which is why this video is being recorded slightly late and has been put up slightly later than usual. However, we did manage to get hold of a good selection of potatoes. So I've just gone and got the sheet of all the different potatoes we got. So they are all main crop potatoes because for us storage is very important. We will be looking to get some salads and first earlies, possibly some second earlies. However, it will depend how much space these take up. So we start with Mers Pink, and the number of plants or potatoes that we got are also shown here. So Curse Pink, we also have Maxine, Mayan Gold, which is a heritage variety, Golden Wonder, and then the final one is Arran Victory, which was the main potato we were looking at in the one of the potatoes we had originally considered getting. So when we saw it in the show, that is why we got more of them. Now, they are also February to March and will be harvestable in August. So what we will be doing is we will be starting to chit them. I will show you them being chitted once we have done it, and we have also recorded all the uses of them. Now, they are all decent storers, which is great because if you store them in a paper bag, you can normally keep main crop potatoes, depending on how good they are at storage, for approximately 6 to 8 months, which is an ideal thing for us. When you're feeding that hunger gap over winter, potatoes are a good filler. Now, that is everything for today, and hopefully that helps show you what we're planting. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment on the video, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more. In the next video, I will be showing you the plants we are planting in the garden, as well as a layout of the garden and the plan we're doing with it. Now, the main plants out there will be tomatoes, so if you're a fan of tomatoes, have a look at that video when it comes out, because we have a couple of very cool different varieties that you cannot buy in shops and are only available in seeds. Thank you very much for joining, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.